So, joining me today is Jennifer Cunningham, recently crowned Mrs. Arkansas International. So, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Yeah, so could you tell us a little bit about the difference between Miss Arkansas and Mrs. Arkansas?
Yes. So Mrs. Arkansas is a unique opportunity. In my mind, it's the pageant for the modern woman. So most pageant systems, the Miss, MISS, you age out once you turn 27, 30, somewhere in there. And with today's society, I mean, women get married at any age. That's the beauty about being a woman. So the Mrs. pageant is for specifically married women, and I love that it celebrates, you can be a married woman and pursuing a career, a married woman and have a full family with children, or both. So that's the main difference. In Mrs., you do have to be married to compete.
Okay, so what made you want to compete in this pageant, and have you ever competed in a pageant prior to this?
I'm glad you asked. So, this is actually my third time in the international system. I competed for Miss Arkansas International before, of course, I became a Mrs. So, I wasn't married. What I really love about the international system is that it is platform based. So, yes, I know people think about beauty pageants and it's like, um, in a pretty gown or nice makeup and any chance to dress up and wear a shiny hat. But the international system focuses on a platform. So each of the contestants have to have a platform that they're passionate about. And to me, that shows that yeah, we still get to dress up in a nice gown, but that it's also showcasing that beauty within.
Mhm.
So the contestants all have something that they're passionate about. My personal platform is ALS, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And my dad had ALS. So that's the platform that I chose. I really care about that, and want to be involved in the community.
Yeah, so as you holding this title, I know you're going on in July to compete for Mrs. International. So, how are you preparing for that?
Oh, preparation has gone great. It's really interesting. So things like this help me get in that interview mode, because you can be passionate about a topic, but relaying that information to other people, especially people that don't know anything about ALS,
Mhm.
kind of getting in that. How do you portray what you're passionate about to other people? So prepping, this interview is, I would consider prep. So thank you for giving me some interview prep here. Also paperwork. So there's actually paperwork that goes into preparing for a pageant, and that's what I love about the international system. The judges don't go into it blindly. They have resumes and platform sheets from all of the contestants that they review prior to the pageant. So it's not just who's this girl in front of me that I've never met. It's what is she representing? So a lot of the pageant preparation has been, putting all my thoughts and feelings out in a resume,
Mhm.
so it stands out to other people, and so they can see me on a piece of paper and see me on the stage and know that that's the same girl.
Yeah, and so also, what advice do you have for women who, again, like you said, this organization supports married women? So, what advice do you have for women that want to go on and do what you're doing, but maybe they don't have the self-esteem to do so?
That's a hard question, because I'm giving anybody advice. I'd have to say do it. And I know that sounds so cliche. Okay. I don't think anyone's ever fully prepared to do anything.
Mhm.
I think you have to go at it, whether you're prepared or not, trust in God's timing. And I feel like that's how it happened for me. And I think it's making me a better person. I
Mhm.
think that with any situation, whether it's a pageant, a job, a school, you're going to get out what you put into it. So if you have that mindset going in of, I just want to learn about myself, or I just want to wear a pretty dress, or I just want to, show people what I'm passionate about, go for it, because you never know what can happen. And I think people will, with this system, hopefully can truly see your heart.
Yeah, and you said that you kind of learned about yourself during this process. So, what did you personally learn about yourself?
I learned, believe it or not, I feel like I'm a little bit more of a perfectionist than thought I was,
Mm-hmm.
because typing out all this paperwork, I'm like, no, this line needs to fit this way, or people could interpret it this way. So I probably need to say it in this manner. So I've never realized that I was like that. I also learned I'm pretty adaptable with deadlines and different things that come up. It's all part of the process. So I'm thinking, if this is helping me make myself a better version of myself, it's all worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so kind of going back to your platform of ALS, what all do you do to, whether it's fundraising, different support groups, like what do you do with your platform?
Well, the thing that I'm most excited about right now, there are two different events. In the state of Arkansas, there are two great organizations, the ALS Association of Arkansas, which is part of the National ALS Association, and ALS in Wonderland, which is a nonprofit organization. Both organizations raise money, and 100% of the proceeds go to people living with ALS in Arkansas. We call them PALS, people with ALS. In Arkansas, because it's an expensive disease. It's where your muscles atrophy. So once someone is diagnosed with ALS, they lose all physical ability.
Mm-hmm.
And these organizations give money for home modifications, because when you've lived your whole life as an able-bodied person, then all of a sudden you're wheelchair bound. You have to relearn a lot of things. They give caregiver resources. So the two events that I'm looking forward to, May 20th in Little Rock is the ALS in Wonderland annual soiree.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had one in a few years because people with ALS have don't have as great of an immune system. So we want to be careful, with a pandemic going on. So we're finally bringing that back to Little Rock. It's like a fashion show meets a theatrical show. This year, the theme is Olympus. So Greek, all things Greek.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year, I'm serving on the planning committee for the Central Arkansas Walk to Defeat ALS, which is October 28th at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. And I'm mentioning Little Rock just because that is the capital of Arkansas.
Right.
Part of what I'm planning to do is bring those support groups and fundraisers to more rural parts of Arkansas, so that people with ALS don't have to travel as far to attend one of these events, and celebrate them as well as raise money for the cause.
Mm-hmm. And also, even though you hold the title of Mrs. Arkansas International, you also have, another job. You're the director there, or a student there at University of Texarkana, Hope, Arkansas. So what do you do in that role?
I love my job. I like to think of it as like a cruise director, except completely on land. And instead of cruising around the world, you're thinking about your future. So my favorite thing about my job is that I get to ask young students from all over Southwest Arkansas, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And let's work backwards from there to see if UAHT falls into those plans. As the director of student relations, I work with our recruitment planning, communication plan, because whether you're a traditional first-time student or you're a non-traditional student, if you are not used to the college atmosphere, that can be kind of a scary transition. So I help to work students through that, enrolling in classes. Of course, not financial aid. I don't work in the financial aid office. They don't let me handle money, but it's getting those students, because that's a big question about college. So helping students work out any part of that admissions process getting into college.
Yeah. And so just to kind of wrap it up, again, you're going to go compete in July. So what can Texarkana do to support our very own?
Oh my goodness. It's as simple as supporting the cause. Follow, it's Mrs. MRSAR International, which is INTL. So MRSAR INTL on Instagram. That's the handle, and just support the cause. I'm going to be at as many places in Texarkana as possible, because I can't wait to take Texarkana to an international stage. I feel very confident that we have such a great community. So I want to take the community to Kingsport, Tennessee this summer. But definitely follow my journey. Follow if you're interested in ALS, whether it's a volunteer or you're looking for a nonprofit to give money to or a cause to give to or think about joining me along.
So where can they find you on social media?
Social media, the Instagram is the number one page for Mrs. Arkansas International. That title, so MRSARINTL on Instagram. That's the handle. Personally, I'm on TikTok and Instagram as Miss Right Brain. That's my maiden name. I'm a pretty right-brained person, so TikTok and Instagram there if you want to follow me personally.
Well, Jennifer, I wish you the best of luck in Mrs. International. So, we're just going to continue to follow you on your journey. And again, I wish you the best of luck and I hope you win. We're all going to be rooting for you. And thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for letting me talk about my journey and my passion to for the international stage.
Thank you.